Welcome to another episode of the CIA podcast. My name is Mike Laser. I am a CIA intern coming to you live from underneath the Denver airport while on my lunch break to bring you all the news directly from the CIA this week. Well, as much as I can say, because I'm not a full CIA worker yet. So I'm not even level one. I'm point 0.5. But I got my ear to the ground. I'm getting the connections. I'm working out the network. So I got a couple things to share with you. First and foremost, breaking news out of the scientific research community. Music. Let me turn off my phone. Musical news. Who was that? Oh, somebody who wants me to go to Canada. All right. Well, maybe there's an underground airport that needs my help. Breaking news out of the scientific research community when it comes to music and pregnancy. It turns out that we should not be playing classical music on the bellies of pregnant women. That's not going to make them as smart, intelligent, or as much of a go-getter as playing Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro podcasts on that pregnant belly. That's how you're going to get a winning child. That's how you're going to get an intelligent child, a sigma, an alpha, and that's what we want here in America. So make sure you play those podcasts on the belly instead of classical music. Okay, let's get into the election, huh? A lot of you didn't vote, and for that, the CIA would like to say, thank you. We want you to vote on The Voice. We want you to vote on American Idol and X Factor and anything that has TV where you're watching it on basic cable and we can sell you pharmaceuticals in between ventriloquists. That's the place we want your vote to count, not when it comes to an election. I know a lot of you don't like Donald Trump. That's fine. I know a lot of you don't like Kamala Harris. That's apparent. But don't vote for either of them. If you want to cross your arms and be like, man, I don't want to vote for anything, then that's great for us because we have A plan, B plan, C plan, Z plan, ZA plan. We have all these plans for depending on how the popular vote turns out. We're going to push our president in that we want one way or another, but we like that a lot of you are now disenfranchised by the idea of democracy. And so that makes our job even easier. I'm climbing the ranks fantastically fast. They've never seen an intern who might become a full-time employee as fast as me. At least that's what one guy said. And then he looked around and then he patted me for a wire and he's like, good, you're not wearing a wire. And I'm like, no, I'm not Justin Bieber talking to P. Diddy. Jesus Christ, relax. Anyway, so now that Donald Trump is our president, what's going to happen? Well, we were pushing for him to make the attorney general the Domino's Noid. A lot of you might not remember the Noid because you're too young, but at one point he was this rascally Domino's pizza mascot who was always up to trouble. And that kind of, frenetic, chaotic person is who we want in the attorney general. Donald Trump said, I'll do you one better than the Noid. What about Matt Gaetz? And we were like, Donnie, wow, you know what? You have our support. And then we shook hands doing the secret Illuminati handshake. Ooh, I can't show it to you, but just know that we did the Illuminati handshake to say Matt Gaetz is the Noid. And we're so excited to see how he topples this country and ruins the empire. So what else is happening? Joe Biden can finally be put back into his hyperbaric chamber and put to sleep. The voodoo curse that we have been working on with him, the witchcraft that has gone into keeping him alive, has been exhausting taxpayer dollars now for so long. And it's just really nice to be able to put those funds into other things, not education, nothing in this country, but back to Ukraine, back to Israel, places like that. So, we have politely fired all of the voodoo, witchcraft, and Etsy witches from keeping Biden alive and keeping his limbs moving. And they won't have to pay taxes on that. It was cash under the table. NDAs have been signed, crossed, dotted, and T'd, and now he can die peacefully, knowing that he did a really bad job, and ruined all of Kamala's chances for any type of, not that she should have been our presidential candidate anyway. Something I have a problem with is I wish that instead of Kamala Harris being pushed into the forefront and everyone being like, yay, we like her all of a sudden, even though we never liked her and she doesn't have much experience, it would have been nice to just taken the L for the Democratic Party and put people into position where we can get to know them so that 4 years from now, they're primed and ready to actually make a presidential run. Kamala's not going to be running again next year. There's no way. It would have been nice to see other people who we don't know in the Democratic Party pushed forward, taken a loss, but maybe done some great things. Maybe had a couple wins in a debate, maybe made a couple good points, maybe make a couple viral memes. And then 4 years from now, they'd be in a position to actually take democracy back. Instead, we put up a candidate who had no experience, was terrible at talking, and most people hated. So another thing, I do think if the Democrats want to win again and the Republicans want to see democracy as a possibility, the first woman president is going to be a man. And by that, I mean it should be a trans man. That's who the Republicans would vote for. The first female president has to be a man who's was born a female who is now a man. And then Republicans are going to be like, good with me. We need somebody who puts their foot on a stool and tells it like it is. I am very intimidated by black women because I am a straight, soft white man. So what if that black woman was also a trans black man who told it like it is and was very tough and also had a lot of good points? Don't forget about that. And I think that could be a really good potential president 4 years from now, a trans black man who scares straight white men like me. What else is happening in the world? Bok choy. We are thinking about putting bok choy at the bottom of the food pyramid. We're thinking about taking the food pyramid now that RFK is in charge of telling us that everything we eat is poison, and we're thinking about taking the Japanese diet and putting that as our bottom of the food pyramid because Japanese people, they're beautiful. They look like they never age a day and they eat wildly healthy. They eat high fats, they eat fresh noodles, they eat a lot of vegetables and bone broth for days. And so we're thinking about stealing the Japanese diet and implementing it here as our own food pyramid, fruits and vegetables on the bottom, use sparingly, that poisonous bread that used to be at the bottom. Now that's at the top because it's all corn syrup and it's going to give everybody diabetes. And in between there, we'll have fats and we'll have meats and we'll have fun things like marshmallows that are actually better than bread, or marshmallows and bread are equally as poisonous. Cheers. Speaking of marshmallow, Big Six. Love this movie. Love Big Hero 6. What else is on our notes for today? Oh, the American dream. One of the problems that we had in this election is Kamala Harris is talking about what isn't anymore. And she's trying to hold on to something that just isn't apparent. The American dream is no longer coming here, working very hard, building up a business for yourself, taking care of your family, and owning a house. No, no, no. Not with the invention of places like Clip Clop and Insta Reels and things like that. The American dream is now sitting in your car, rating chicken tenders on a scale of 1 to 10 and getting paid $1 million for it while sitting inside of your Tesla that was sponsored by Tesla, and all of a sudden Raising Cane's, you give a 9.8. The American dream is to walk around rating food and not doing anything else. That's the American dream now. Sorry, it's not to become a cobbler. It's to rate cobblers, the fruit kind. That's the American dream. So I just wish, and so if the Democrats want to ever, win another election, they should get involved with what the American dream is now. There's a woman who walks around and rates fancy places based on her number twos in their bathrooms, and she's a millionaire. That's the new American dream, to do something simple, easy, that you don't have to work too hard at, and then go golfing and reading books for the rest of your life, and actually having a life outside of work. The American dream is having a life outside of work, and that's why rating chicken tenders in your car is the new American dream. There you go. That's coming directly from the CIA. What else we got today? I think that's it. I think that's it, everybody. Oh, very quickly. We had a meeting here at the CIA about what the Democrats can do on January 6th because not enough of them voted to actually storm the Capitol. It'd be more of a sprinkle. It'd be more of a sprinkle than a storm of the Capitol based on how many Democrats voted this time around. But other things that the Democrats can do than storm the Capitol, in the whole ethos of Stop the Steal, they can do a sound bath on the Capitol steps. They can have one person go on the Capitol steps, open up, do a Zoom meeting. All Democrats can join the Zoom meeting, cameras on, cameras off, everyone apologizing for interrupting each other. Take a screenshot of that Zoom for democracy and post it on your social media for clout. You can also write a think piece while drinking a local cold brew. And that's a part that would really make a deep, deep impact on the American culture to show how upset you are that our president is not who you wanted it to be. These are just a couple of the ideas that might work on January 6th. If you have any, please share them with me. I would love to hear them, and we will pitch them at the next CIA pitch meeting to see if we can get a couple of leaders of the Democratic Party to leak those into the American subconscious and see if maybe of them will take shape. Maybe your idea, instead of storming the Capitol, maybe you'll see it on January 6th if it's a good enough pitch. Pour a little bit of soy milk out for democracy on the lawn, but then you got to clean it up because that's the right thing to do. Maybe shrug on January 6th. Everybody at noon PST shrugs their shoulders inside their domicile on January 6th in solidarity. Things like that. You know, we got a lot of ideas, and that's just a couple of them. Okay, it's a short podcast today, but it's also, you know, we're full steam ahead here until the holidays. And so I hope you have a really great rest of the day, rest of the week. I hope this helps and you feel informed. And don't forget to buy stuff.